Hi, welcome to Only in Illinois, your weekly video recap from Reboot, Illinois. Madeleine Doubek here again with Matt Dietrich. And this week we want to tell you a little bit about a fairly detailed and specific plan from Bruce Rauner dealing with jobs, growth, and tax policy primarily. First really extensive, fairly specific report we've seen. There were two previous versions that dealt with waste in government and some changes to corporate policies.
To what Bruce Rauner calls corporate welfare, which he gets into a little bit
Right.
in his latest chapter of his blueprint.
So we have the Bring Back Blueprint, which actually printed out green, here with us, and the three key components are a phase out of the 67% temporary income tax increase in Illinois, although no details on how that would be done and when it would be done. The law currently is that the income tax rate goes down to 3.75% in January.
But what Bruce Rauner is proposing now is that over the course of his first term, he would take the income tax rate back to
3%.
3%, which is what it was before the 2011 tax increase. So, and the corporate tax rate would also fall accordingly back to its pre-2011 rate.
But how he does that, and he said it's the promise is that it will be done by the end of his first 4 years in office if he's elected. Beyond that, there are no details, and we tried to get a few more about how that would work and what would be involved, because as of January, it's supposed to be 3.75%.
Right.
So can't tell you a whole lot more there. The second component is freezing local property taxes, which is going to take some work if it's going to be done.
That would be more of a job, because right now the governor does not have the authority, nor does the legislature, to freeze property taxes on local taxing bodies throughout the state. So he would have to change the state constitution to do that, or in some cases...
Which would require a supermajority vote.
Right, or in some cases, maybe it could be done legislatively, but it's going to take a lot of working with the legislature if that's the case.
And you can expect a lot of opposition from local government leaders, particularly in home rule communities who have the power to raise taxes without going to referendum. Bruce Rauner wants to pretty much require everyone to go to
right.
to give voters a say on every local tax increase. Third component, the really big, probably newest and most revealing development is that Rauner wants to tax services, not goods, but services, essentially broaden the tax base in Illinois to create more revenue and even things out. So he's talking about placing a sales tax on everything from warehousing and storage services to marine towing to packing and crating, printing, sewer and refuse collection, travel agencies, you get the idea, lawyers.
And I should add here that every single one of those specific sales taxes has a constituency that is going to have a lobbying effort that's going to fight it tooth and nail. Updating the state's sales tax system to include services is an issue that's been around for years.
Talked about before by
right.
lots of previous administrations.
And that's not a criticism of Bruce Rauner for having it in this plan. But you should note from the semantics of tax issues that this is called modernizing in Bruce Rauner's document. He calls it modernizing the sales tax system. And there's a chart in the document itself that shows how we're spending a lot more on services now than we do on goods, and how that's changed over the years. So, if you change your sales tax and apply it to services, you're really keeping pace with the way your economy works.
Right, and he was, made a particular note to say that he was not going to apply this to services like getting your hair cut or getting your dog groomed. And so there also are a lot more details about, he would, said again that he would raise the minimum wage maybe to $10 an hour if it could be combined with some more workers' comp reform, some more tort reform. There's a lot of discussion of the fact that we pay higher workers' compensation insurance rates than any of our neighbors, certainly more than Indiana, which we've been compared to a lot. Tort reform is something that Republicans have talked about again for years. So Quinn's campaign very quickly came out and said this would drive us into a ditch. There's going to be a big hole blown in the budget because Quinn, of course, wants to permanently extend the 5% income tax rate. And so the Quinn camp is arguing that this scenario would hurt lower income people, middle class people, would cause all kinds of layoffs of teachers and all kinds of other workers. And so we're finally starting to see kind of some discussion of what could happen to our future in Illinois instead of a look back.
When these two candidates get together for a debate, I think it's going to be very interesting.
Absolutely. All right, we'll have more at rebootillinois.com. Check it out. We'll keep covering it. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on the next edition of Only in Illinois.